Alright, we're back, and this is another video brought to you by iSystem. This is about the work in process. This is a continuation of the manufacturing concern, such that when the materials are already ordered, it's in the warehouse, it's time for them to be used in fabrication. That's work in process. So as a review, you have raw materials, and from our menu, that's where you go to. That's under warehouse management, raw materials. So you need labor as part of the fabrication, and factory overhead. Those two entries, labor and factory overhead, can be found in this menu. So you have labor, raw materials, labor, and factory overhead. Raw materials, factory overhead. Alright, this video is brought to you by iSystem. Please check out the site. It's on your screen, the bottom screen, and the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe so that future videos will be at your disposal. Now when you go to raw materials, you have the option of select MRIS. So we'll go there now. Okay, what do you do in select MRIS? It's basically just defining what MRIS you want to work on. So this is a familiar feature of our system. You have to define which document you want to print, you want to work on. It's normally found in the TN field, or transaction number field. So we're working on MRIS 030118. Alright, so that's what it does. Select MRIS is just basically that one. Select. Okay. Normally, what is available here is the number of records. You see the bottom figure here, you have 92. Okay, it's 92. That's your bottom figure. That's the number of raw materials that is needed for this particular job order. Remember, we are here in raw materials, and we are here on BDH3. Now we have selected that. It means 92 records is needed, is required. 92 records is required for creating a BDH3 product. Another important feature here is the MN field. This is the sequence that you want your product or your raw materials to appear. So if you want a particular order on how you would want to print the raw materials, then this is what you use, the sequencing. And very prominently at the bottom are huge numbers, 100, 101. These are for the other entries like labor, factory overhead, and work in process. You will discuss that more later. Okay, let's go back to from select MRIS. You have input order. What do you do there? That's input order, right? So input order, from select MRIS to input order. What's important here is the MRIU. This is the order coming from the head office. We have gone through this in our previous video. but what is required here is a putting in the order. Normally the order is 10 orders for the month. If you want to change that, then you will have to go through this screen and you say find and replace. Okay, replace. Okay, for now we're sticking with the same number. Okay, place all. Okay, there you go. There you go. So 10. So that's what you do in this particular field input order. You put the order by changing it to find and replace. Okay. So that's what you do there. Again, the particular order is coming from the head office. So let's proceed. From input order, you have to print the MRIS. This is very self-explanatory because that's the purpose of this particular feature. This is to print the MRIS. Whatever you have selected in sequence here, whatever you have selected should appear here, and you should have 92 as your number of records because that's what we were talking about a while ago. So here it is very prominent that there is no cost displayed. Why? Because we don't need it for issuing the MRIS. So if you did this, you did the order, the quantity, you have the total quantity that should be released. Okay. So please pay particular attention because we might be discussing this later on. Remember this raw material, not really, probably not used in this building of the BDH3, but we have used it from time to time because what we want is to show the stock card, the effect of issuance in the stock card. But let's go back to our topic. So from raw materials, you print the MRIS because that's what you want to do. Okay, now after printing the MRIS, it goes to your Google Drive. From your Google Drive, head office prints the raw material cost. Okay, let's close some table because we are overloaded with tables. Okay, so let's go back there. You have warehouse management, raw materials, work in process of BDH3, and print the raw material cost. Now the cost, what do you do here? You visually check if all the line items have cost, except of course these particular entries, because this is an accounting entry. So technically you don't see it there, you don't see this particular items there, but since we have already gone into the process, it has already reflected. So don't mind that, mind this particular column, the total cost or the average cost. So make sure there are all costs there. Otherwise, you will not come up with a correct raw material cost. So we're done with that. We're done with the raw material. It's time now for inputting labor and factory overhead. When you input the labor and factory overhead, you would have to go to the last entries and you will find it here. There you go. Okay. So that's your particular entry over there. Okay. Okay.